Welcome students. In this video, we are going to be see about the data visualization technique using R. With ever increasing volume of data in today's world, it is impossible to tell the stories without this visualization. The visualization is a basic tool for making the decision of the decision makers. In former days, we are going to be present the data in the form of tabular format. But today's world, the data is going to be increasing in large volume. So it is not possible to show the data, or we are going to make the decision in the tabular format. So that's why the data scientist is going to be introduce a lot of visualization techniques. So in this video, we are going to be see about the basic visualization techniques which are used in our R programming. The R programming offers a satisfactory set of inbuilt functions and libraries to build the visualization and present the data. In this video, we are going to be see about the histogram, bar chart, box plot, scatter plot under the basic visualization, and under the advanced visualization we are going to be see about the heat map, correlogram and area chart. So let's directly get into the R Studio. So the first program is nothing but histogram. Okay. Second, we are going to be see about the line chart or bar chart, and then box plot, and then scatter plot. Okay, these are the basic visualization techniques. In advanced visualization techniques, we are going to be see about the heat map, correlogram, and finally as the area chart. Okay, we are going to be see one by one in R programming. So let's get into the R Studio. So before starting our session, first we have to install the basic libraries which are needed for data visualization. The first library is nothing but R Color Brewer, which is used to make the colors in our data. And second, we are going to be install the package called CORRPLOT, corplot. So which having a lot of basic functionalities for our visualization techniques. So in first, we are going to be show about the histogram. The histogram is nothing but this is the function we are used to build the histogram. So here we are using a multiple bricks. Okay, what is histogram? Histogram is nothing but to split the data into multiple bins and shows the frequency distribution of these bins. Okay, so it's going to be divide the data into multiple breaks and show the frequency distribution of these breaks. So that is concept of histogram. You can change the breaks, also see the effect. It has visualization in terms of understandability. So that's why we are using the parameter called MFRO is equal to C of 2, 3, which is nothing but it's going to be show a multiple graphs in a single page for the better understandability. So here we are using 2, 3, which is nothing but 2 row and 3 column, which is 6 graphs will be shown in a single page for the better understandability. So in here histogram, we are going to be give a separate breaks. Okay, in different set of breaks, how the data is going to be visualized in R. So histogram, we are using the data called VA depth. So the help will show the what is the data. So this is the data. So the data is nothing but 1,000 population per year. Okay, the death rates of measured per 1,000 population per year. It is having a cross classified by the age group as well as the population group. So this is the VA death data. So in a row, we are going to be separated by the age population. In column, we are going to be separated by the area population. Area population and age population. So here in area population is going to be split into rural male, rural female, urban male and urban female. And in age group, this is going to be split into 50 to 75. Okay, this is the data set. So we are going to be create a histogram based on these data sets. So the first histogram will show the 10 breaks, and second will show the 3 breaks, and third will show the 7 breaks, and fourth will show the 2 breaks, and the last 2 will show the 8 breaks with the heat color. Okay. So I am going to be implement these all functions. So here we are going to be see about the 6 histograms in a single page. So in first command, we are going to be give the 10 breaks. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So within the 10 breaks, how the data is going to be distributed over the breaks. Okay, so this will be show the first histogram. So here we are going to be set the 3 colors. Here we are going to be set the 3 breaks with 3 colors. So if the number of breaks which is less than the number of colors, then the colors should be repeated itself. Whether the number of breaks should be greater than the number of colors, then the colors should be taken by the 2 extremes. So that will be shown here. So here we are having a 2 breaks, but we are choosing the 8 color. Okay, but we are having only 2 breaks. So it will choose the most extreme 2 colors to represent the histogram. So this will be show the 7 breaks. Okay, so this is the histogram. So this is the population frequency, and this is the age of the data. So this is our data. So here there is around 11.7 should be, I mean the 7.11 should be is 1. So in this break, so the total highest frequency is 3. So in your first histogram, the highest frequency is 3. So in between 0 to 10, the frequency will be occurs only once. So that's why 2. What are the 2 datas? One is 8.4, another one is 8.7. So these 2 frequency of the data will be occurred within 10. So the maximum is 3. So here's 2. So the histogram will show 2 within the particular break. So in the same way, we are going to be separate the data with the different breaks, and we can see how the data is going to be distributed over the breaks or over the bins. So this is the very important visualization techniques in our program. So what is the main advantages of the histogram? And I already told you, the histogram will show the frequency of the data over the breaks. So we can specify the breaks. We can give the number of breaks. The data is going to be splitted. Okay, so the histogram is over. And then second visualization techniques is very interesting visualization techniques, nothing but bar chart. So the bar chart is nothing but it is a traditional representation way. In our school days, we are going to be use this bar chart or line chart for data visualization. So the line chart are commonly preferred when we are to analyze the trends spread over the time period. Okay, if suppose we have to identify the trends or evaluation of the particular product over the time period, then we have to use the line chart or plot chart. So the plot chart is having a very simple command, which is nothing but plot of air passengers type is equal to 1. So here the air passengers data, I will show the air passengers. So this is the air passengers data. I will going to print the data. Okay, so nothing but I am going to print air passengers. So this is your data, nothing but the number of peoples is going to be traveled from 1949 to 1960. So each and every data is going to be represented in terms of 1000. So this is your data. So from 1949 to 1960, the number of people traveled through the airway. So we are going to be using the plot air passengers comma type is equal to 1, which is nothing but a simple line plot. We are going to be execute this. Okay, so this is your output. So here it will show the number of people over the year from 1950 to 1960. It's going to be increased. The number of people who are going to be traveled over the airway or who are going to be use the airplane to traveling is going to be increased over the year. So the line chart will very helpful to identify the trends over the year or the evaluation over the year, how it's going to be changed. whether it's going to be increased or whether it's going to be decreased. So this is one of the important visualization techniques in your R. And third technique is nothing but a bar plot. So a bar plot is a similar way. So this is going to be used for showing the comparison between cumulative totals across the several groups. So here we are having a two bar plot. One is a normal bar chart, another one is a stacked plots. So which is nothing but stacked plots are used for bar plots for various categories. So I will explain by using the iris data. We already know, so what is iris data? So I will show you the iris data. So this is the iris data which having 150 entries and which having a 5 columns: sepal length, sepal width, petal width and species. So the sepal length to the petal length which having the numerical value, whereas in species which having the categorical value. So the categorical will be split into 3 types: setosa, versicolor and virginica. So I am going to show the bar plot by using the data set iris. So first I have to install the data iris. Second, bar plot. I am going to do the bar plot based on that petal length. So this is a simple bar graph. Okay. So here in iris data set, I am going to use the petal length for make a bar plot. So I am going to run this. So this is your bar plot. Okay. This will show the 150 entries and show the petal length. So here I am going to make the bar plot based on that petal length. And second, I am going to use the sepal length, and I am introducing a new parameter called COL is equal to brewer.pl. COL is nothing but the color. Okay, we are going to get the color from brewer.pal. 3 colors. So I am going to implement this. So this is your bar graph based on the petal length. So sorry, sepal length. The first one is a petal length and second one is a sepal length. So this is your diagram. So the first one is a petal length and second one is a sepal length. And third is nothing but which is a stack plot, which is used to identify the different categories over the data. So here we are going to be introducing 2 variables. So one is nothing but a species. So based on the species, the sepal length is going to be shown in our bar plot. This is called as a stacked plot. So I am going to run this. So here I am going to draw the bar chart based on 2 variables. One is species, another one is sepal length. Okay. So in this diagram, so these 3 colors will specify the 3 categories: setosa, versicolor and virginica. The setosa will be shown in red color, the versicolor should be shown in blue color, and virginia should be shown in green color. Okay. So over the sepal length, so the length, based on the length, how the data is going to be categorized. Okay. So if the sepal length will be in 4.3 to 4.9, so the majority of the data should be in setosa. Whether it's going to be in between 5.2 to 6.5, so the majority of the data should be in versicolor, and the same way is going to be in virginica for over the point 6.8 to 7.6. So this is the basic representation of the sepal length with stacked plot for over a different categories. So this will show how the data is going to be spreaded over the different categories for the particular parameter. Okay. And we having one more basic visualization technique, which is nothing but box plot. So what is my box plot? So the box plot will show the 5 significant numbers in your data set. So it's going to be show the minimum, the 25th percentile, the median, the 75th percentile, and the maximum. So it will useful for visualizing the spread of the data in deriving inferences accordingly. It will not show the frequency of the data. It will show the spread of the data. So where the data is going to be spreaded more in our data set. So what are the data is going to be spreaded over the particular area. For example, if the data is going to be spreaded across the major of data is between 2 to 5 means it will show where the data is going to be spreaded largely. So I will show how it's going to be implemented using the IRIS data set. Okay, I'm going to install the data IRIS, and PAR is nothing but I already show you is going to be display the multiple graphs in a single page. Okay, so this is the first box plot by using the IRIS sepal length. The color is red. I am going to run this. So this is your box plot based on your petal length. Okay, so here it's going to be give you the 5 numbers: minimum, 25th percentile, 50th percentile, 75th percentile, and maximum. In your IRIS data set, the sepal length, what is the minimum value for the sepal length? So we can go in IRIS data sets in sepal length. Okay, the second column. So I think the minimum is 2.2, something like that. 2.22, yeah, 2.2 is the minimum. Okay, so it will be shown in your box plot. So this is your minimum, and this is your 25th percentile, and this is your 50th percentile, this is your 75th percentile, this is your maximum. So it will show where the data is going to be spreaded over. As I told you, this will show, visualize the spread of the data. So it will show the spread of the data is over within this period. Okay, so this is a simple box plot, and this is nothing but a box plot which is based on different species. Okay, how the sepal length is going to be spreaded over the across multiple species in our data. So here there is a 3 categories. So we are going to show the box plot between the species as well as the sepal length. The sepal length will be displayed in y-axis, and the species will be displayed in your x-axis. In Setosa, versicolor, and virginica. If the sepal length is between, so the major of the, if the data is over between the 4.5 to 5.5, something like that, so that should be a Setosa. If suppose a sepal length should be in between 5.5 to 6.5, then it should be a versicolor. If the data spread over between the 6.5 to the 7 point or 7, something like that, so it's the more probability should be in virginica. So this is the over how the data is going to be spreaded across the different categories. So this is nothing but the same data, we are going to be choose a different colors. So here we are going to choose the heat color, here we are going to choose the topo color. Okay, if suppose it did not specify any color, then it will be show like a gray colors. Okay, it will show like a gray color. So now we are completing our basic visualization technique. Then we are move on to the advanced visualization technique. In advanced visualization technique, we are going to be see about the 3 techniques. One is a heat map, another one is a correlogram, and third one is a area chart. In heat map, it's a very interesting visualization technique. So we having a 2 axis, but we having a 3rd dimension classification. So heat maps enable you to exploratory data analysis with a 2 dimension as the axis, like x-axis and y-axis, and 3rd dimension shown by the intensity of the color. So however, you need to convert the data into the matrix format. So in heat map, the heat map only get the input as a matrix format. So here we are going to be using the cars, empty cars. Okay, so how the empty cars is going to be shown in heat map. So I'm going to run this. So this is the histogram of your empty cars. Okay, so this is the row dendrogram and this will be the column dendrogram. Okay, so we having this type of variables. So the light color which show the magnitude value should be low, the intensity should be high, which also represent the magnitude will be high. Okay, so the intensity of the color which is based on that magnitude of the particular value. If the value is going to be high, then the intensity should be high. If the value should be low, then the intensity should be low. So if we can analyze the data, so where the value should be high, where the value should be low, we can easily get the data by using the heat map. Okay, so before getting to that, I will show you the normal scatter plot. Okay, in scatter plot, it is a very easy way to understand the data. It is very easy way to display and it is very easy way to understand. A basic inspection can be done using the basic plot. This one is the simple scatter plot and second one is a multivariate scatter plot. I am going to implement the simple scatter plot first. So this is the simple scatter plot. Okay. So based on that petal length, so in the petal length, so it's going to be shown like this. Okay, the data is going to be scattered over the 150 entries over these areas. And then multivariate scatter plot. In multivariate scatter plot, I am going to use the two attributes. So the petal length for x-axis and the species for y-axis. Okay, this is the multivariate scatter plot. So here we are using the two variables. One is a species, another one is a petal length. The petal length should be in our x-axis and the species should be in your y-axis. Okay. So if how the species is going to be, how the species is going to be spreaded over the petal length. If the petal length is between the 3 to 5, then it should be in second category. If the petal length will be in 1 to 2 something like that, it should be in first category. If the petal length in 5 to 7 something like that, it should be in a third category. So this is the way you are going to make a basic inspection in your data. So let's move on to our heat map. Okay, so here I am going to generate a random x variables and y variables for better understanding about the histogram. This is nothing but we are going to be creating a random variables. Okay, x-axis and random variables in y-axis, and I am going to make the data frame in x and y variables. And seed is nothing but when we are going to create a random variables, if the seed is which is used to create a standard variables for your random variables. Okay, it's going to be create a same variable for the same seed. So that's why we are using the seed 143. So I'm going to be convert this data into the matrix because the heat map only require the input as a matrix. So I am going to convert this as a matrix. First of all, I am going to print the data of x variable and y variable. So this is your x data and y data. Okay. So this is your x, this is your y. Let's see about how the heat map will works. Okay. So this is your heat map. So this is your x-axis, this is your y-axis. So this will show the intensity. So where the intensity should be high and the light color will show the intensity should be low. And this left and top, this is nothing but the left dendrogram and this is nothing but your column dendrogram. So we can eliminate this dendrogram for the better understanding of the heat map. So this is the command to eliminate the dendrograms. So this is your basic heat map. Okay. So here is going to be observation from 1 to 10. So if the color is red, then the intensity, the magnitude value should be high. If the color is light, means the intensity, the magnitude value of the particular variable should be low. So I will explain this. So here in your x-axis, your first column having a very dark color, which means having high magnitude. So directly go to this. In your x-axis, it's having a 5, which is having a high magnitude value. That's why that color should be in very dark manner. Whereas in your 10th entry, so the 10th entry should be in 1.6, something like that. So the intensity is very low. The intensity of the color is low because the magnitude value having very low value. So based on that intensity, the color will be vary. So we can easily understand the data spread over the variables and where the value should be high and where the value should be low. In the same way, in y-axis, in first entry, which having a dark color, which means it's having a high intensity value. Whereas in your 10th, 9th and 8th entry, it's having very less value, like 1, 1. In 8th entry, it's having very, very low value, which is 0.96. Okay. So based on that magnitude value, the intensity should be vary. If the magnitude value is high, then the intensity should be high. If the magnitude value is low, then the intensity of the color should be low. So this is the way of representation of the two axes, with the third axis as a intensity of the color. So we can simultaneously visualize the clusters of the sample and their features. And then second advanced technique is nothing but a correlogram. So what is a correlogram? So correlogram is nothing but it's going to be give the correlation between the matrix. So what is the relation between the two variables? So that is the correlogram. So we can correlogram help us to visualize the data in correlation matrix. So I am going to explain the correlogram by using the same data set, empty cars. So before getting to that, we are going to install the library corplot. I am going to run the second. So this is your first correlogram with the circles. Okay, I am going to run this command. So this is the first we have to convert into the correl matrix. So the first will show the circles manner. So I will explain this correlogram. Okay. So this is your correlogram. So in your empty cost data set, you are having this type of attributes, which is nothing but your column value. So here in the right side, it will show the intensity color. Okay, if it is a dark blue, then it should be having a 1. If it is a dark green or dark red, it will be having the negative correlation. So in your diagonal values, it will be in your dark blue, which means it's having a high positive correlation between the two variables, because the MPEG and MPEG, it's having a very high positive correlation. Whereas in dark circle, okay, in this a dark circle with the red color, which show the in VS versus HP, which show the dark color, and small circle, which show the a high and negative correlation between the two variables. Okay, if the fade is very, if the intensity of the color it should be very low, means it having a very weak correlation between the two variables. So this will show what are the variables having the strong relationship between in our data sets. Okay, if you have to choose a particular data set for your decision tree or classification, so what is the variable, what is the prediction variable, or what is the predictor variable? So we can easily get the relationship between the two variables by using this correlogram. So we can use the different techniques. Like this will be show the circles. We can use the numbers, we can use the eclipse, we can use the squares to show the correlogram. So this will be show the same parallelogram in terms of numbers. Okay. So this is the same as it will show in numbers. Okay. In the strong parallelogram and positive strong parallelogram in color of dark and it's having a high value is 1. The negative parallelogram which having the red and dark. Okay. So here this is having a strong negative correlation between the two variables. So based on this we can easily get the relation between the two variables by using the parallelogram map. And the last advanced classification techniques in this video we are going to discuss about the area chart. So the area chart is going to be express the continuity between the different variables on data sets. So let's install the package dplyr. Cancel. I am going to install the two packages dplyr and ggplot2. So I am using the data air quality. So I will show the air quality. So what is the data air quality? So the air quality data will this is the air quality data. So it's going to be show the air quality in different months. Okay, month 5, month 6, month 7. This is your air quality data. So we are going to be create the area chart based on the air quality data. So this is your program for creating the area chart based on air quality. So here we are going to be creating the air quality by using group by day and then summarized by the mean wind. Okay. So the x-axis is equal to day and y is equal to mean wind. So the label title is nothing but area chart of average. This is nothing but title of the graph. This is the x-axis and y-axis value. Okay. I will show you the in big screen. So this is your area chart. Okay. So the y-axis is mean wind, the x-axis is a day. So we are going to be group the month by day and we have to create the area chart. So this will show you the what is the mean wind of the based on the day. Okay. Here will easily show the mean wind should be high in the day between 10 to 20. Okay. It should be low in 30 as well it should be low in the 1 and 2nd days. Okay. So the area chart will show the continuity of the data between the different variables and it also give the trends over the time period. We can easily analyze the trends over the time period. So the data visualization is a very important part in your data science. So we can easily make the decision by using these visualization techniques. So I hope this session will be helpful to you. So thank you students. Best of luck.